this has been the fastest and easiest way for me to manifest. And I'm going to share with you exactly what that process looks like and real ways that you can implement it into your life so that it just becomes like an effortless thing. And you're enjoying your life, and then all these amazing things start happening for you. Welcome back. This is something that I was really understanding and becoming during the little break that I recently took, and I didn't even realize how long of a break I took because I was enjoying myself so much. Maybe not at first. Adjustments are hard, but let's get into it. So this key thing that I want to share with you today is honoring yourself. Honoring your authentic feelings, just honoring your authenticity, what feels authentic to you. And to me, this is like the root of your being. This is your baseline. And you don't have to fully comprehend it in a logistical way, but getting in touch with your feelings and honoring your feelings. This doesn't mean taking action based on anything. This just means honoring them, accepting your feelings, not trying to reject them or contest them, argue with yourself about why you're feeling what you're feeling, allowing yourself to accept whatever you're feeling, process it, and then move from a place that feels authentic. And that's what I'm talking about here. So it's like a compass when you get in touch with this state. It's like a compass that is going to so easily point to north, right? It's always going to be pointing north. And when we're trying to manifest something that might be like a big leap for us, it can be difficult. It can feel impossible at times. And sometimes we don't know how to close that gap because we know that we need to be in that energetic state in order to get what that, desired thing is, that desired state. But sometimes it's like the gap is just so big, like how do you bridge it? So what I discovered in focusing on authenticity, not from a space of manifestation, but just in a space of this feels like what I need to do to truly love myself more and further my relationship with myself, it really opened my eyes to just how greatly that affects what you're manifesting into your reality. And I believe that this is because self-love is this is my current working theory, so just bear with me, but I believe that self-love is the highest form of love, and this is why. I know that we hear like unconditional love being, like a very high form of love all the time, and that's not to disregard that, but the way that I'm looking at it is if we are all like the God of our universe, our reality, and our connection to ourself is our first and primary connection to that source power, God, the universe, however you like to call it, then self-love is the first thing in line for that to be received. Now, imagine you have a power strip, right? Like you plug it into an outlet and then you plug your other things into that outlet. I'm not an electrician, but I understand the basic mechanics are that whatever the outlet that you plug it into, the power strip into, whatever its output potential is important, right? And then the power strip itself has to be able to have its own capacity, right? And then it takes its capacity to hold energy or electricity, and it will distribute it amongst, let's say it's got 5 outlets on it. Now, if you're trying to plug 5 different things into that power strip, you want them all to have their full potential, right? But if you have a power strip that is kind of weak, maybe it's cheap, and it's not able to distribute as much power as it should, then your lamp is going to be dim, things aren't going to run properly. Like I have a little USB fan. Depending on what I plug that into, it's either going full blast or it's barely going because it doesn't have enough power, right? So what am I talking about with this power strip analogy? You are the power strip. You are connected to a source energy, however you want to relate to that and label it. God, the universe, just energy, whatever that is for you. But you are the power strip. And the more you focus on amplifying yourself and charging up yourself with love, the more you have to give anything that plugs into your power strip. I love my analogies. Like, it sounds so silly as I'm saying it, but I'm like, this makes sense. And I hope it makes sense to you guys as much as it makes sense to me. Because through charging yourself, you are then amplifying your capacity to project that love, connect that love, just be a conduit for that love, right? If you're the power strip and you've got energy moving through you, just imagine that. Imagine that the more you work on, now obviously your power strip is an inanimate object. It's not like working on its self-love to better its capacity to hold electricity, but imagine that it did have to do that. The more you pour into yourself, the more you're taking care of yourself, the more you are a better power strip. And that is going to reflect, right? Our entire reality is a reflection of our internal state of being, our energetic state of being. And especially when you were maybe raised like me to be a people pleaser, as we like to say, or to self-sacrifice, to not pour it into yourself, it seems like the logical thing to do to increase love in your life is to give to other people. And it's not that you have to stop giving to other people, but you really need to integrate practices of self-love and start pouring into yourself more. Now, honestly, when I first started doing this, and every time that I made big leaps in prioritizing myself more, quite honestly, I always thought that I was already doing that. I thought that I was loving myself a healthy amount. And every time I wanted to make strides in that, and I would start seeing things in my reality that were very undesirable and clearly showing me that I was not in that state of being like I thought I was, that the self-love I thought was adequate was truly not for what I want to experience. It was very uncomfortable to shift into that. It felt wrong because for so long this was what was right, and it even felt selfish a lot of times. And I had to mentally commit myself to a practice that I knew was going to get me into the state of being that I wanted to be in, whatever that looked like for me, whatever was most authentic. What were my authentic needs at the time that required or gave me opportunity to increase my love for myself and show up for myself as I wanted others to be showing up for me. And so I was this power strip that didn't have the capacity to experience what it was that I wanted to experience in my reality, right, from others. And these can be romantic relationships, friendships, family, work, anything, any relationship to anyone. And so it just, it's like what you're accepting as adequate, it takes the contrast and the perspective to truly understand, like, what that really was. Because in the moment, you might feel like, wow, this is amazing because relative to where I was a year ago or 2 months ago or 2 weeks ago, this is a big change. But there might still be growth. And so if you are focusing on honoring yourself and just committed to self-love, you're never going to stop growing in that. And to me, that's not a bad thing. Like, you're not going to go wrong by furthering your love for yourself, So like, I don't, in my opinion, think it's anything that you would need to be like, oh, I should take a break on that. For me, it's something that is potentially a lifelong pursuit, probably. So knowing what I know now and using this power strip analogy, I wanted to see a greater amplification in the reflection of the love I was experiencing in my life and the way others were showing up for me, and understanding what I know about manifestation. Specifically, I really love the teachings of Neville Goddard. I really have to embody that state first. It's a reflection of me. I can't stand there and want my reflection to wave at me if I'm refusing to pick up my hand, right? So I commit to focusing on myself, and then everything is naturally going to start reflecting in. But it's just, the point is, committing yourself to this, you're going to see positive results no matter what. You have to trust the process because of the nature of I don't know, just the nature of the thing, right? Like you think that this is adequate, your reality starts to show you, okay, maybe it's not. And so committing yourself to always honoring yourself, furthering your self-love, in my eyes, is never going to steer you wrong. It's only going to continue to improve your life. And like I said, it was uncomfortable at the beginning because it felt wrong. It went against everything that I had known most of my life. But the universe really supported me. My reality supported me in that growth, and it was uncomfortable, for sure. And this is where I'm going to start talking about how do you actually implement this when you're in that space of this is feeling wrong. What is it that you're committing yourself to get you through that period? Because for me, it only lasts maybe 3 days before I shift into on the other side of that discomfort and realize, oh my gosh, no, like that felt so wrong, but this is really where I needed to be. So for me, what I did was I looked at my routine. I looked at everything in my daily life, and I asked myself this question around being authentic and honoring myself. How can I do that more? And so I have a list of things that I'm going to share with you where you can reflect on your own life, and I'll give you examples, and you can kind of see the little ways that you can start to be more authentic. And I just thought of the channelings of Bashar. I saw on an Instagram reel, he was talking about a very simple way to shift your life without having to do anything too major is every time you're given a choice, pick the more exciting option. And I think the example he used was like, if you know that in your afternoon you need to make a sandwich, work out, take a shower, and you have to do those 3 things, pick them in the order that is most exciting to you. Make the sandwich that is most exciting to you. You want to add the mustard, or you want to toast it, but it's going to take an extra 2 minutes. Pick the option that's most exciting. You're taking a shower and, oh, this body wash is so close to being empty. I should really just use the rest of it, but I really want to use that one. I want to smell like grapefruit today. I don't want to smell like peppermint, Then don't use the one that you don't want to use, Do the thing that is most authentic and exciting to you. This can even be picking out your socks. I've started doing this when it comes to like picking out my clothes. What feels the most exciting to me today? And so that actually works right into my list of incorporating these practices into your routine. Ask yourself, how can I be more authentic? How can I show up for myself more? I like the way Bashar phrased it. What's most exciting? What is the most exciting choice to you? This doesn't have to be some major thing. You don't have to have some like huge heart-to-heart or like deep healing medicine moment to pick out your socks and decide that you want to be wearing one blue one and one pink one today, and you don't care if they match because it just feels fun for you. Or that you want to, on your drive to work, listen to a Broadway musical soundtrack and loudly sing along at the top of your lungs, and maybe you just have one song on repeat for the whole 20-minute drive because that feels most fun for you, Things like that. So how can you be more authentic in your daily life? Just go through your routine, and this might be something that is helpful for you to write down. You can block out your schedule and just look at the different things that you have. I know I've done a video where I said like every choice you make is a crossroads for yourself. So what are you eating for breakfast? Are you getting the absolute, you have breakfast bars and you got the one that was on sale, but you didn't really like that flavor, but it was $1 cheaper. Was that dollar worth it? In the energetic sense that now you're doing something that you didn't really want to do. And these might seem like, oh, well, that's not that big of a deal. But let me tell you, these things add up. So what are you eating every day? Look at your meals. In what ways could you make it a little bit more exciting? I don't think you guys can see. Oh, my Girl Scout cookies are in the way. But I have a collection now of infused olive oils. I have little jars of salt that I use for cooking, and then I have mixed with other herbs so that when I sprinkle salt on my food, it's not just that, and there's a little extra something in there. I have different ones. These are all like my personal examples, but look at the way that eating could be more exciting for you. Dressing, I gave the example of dressing for work, and work with what you have, right? Like if you're like, oh, well, I want what would be most exciting is buying these really expensive outfits for work, but I don't have the money right now. This is all about working with what you have in the moment. And maybe daydream about that when you're picking out your fun socks, or when you're picking out that fun top instead of the more practical one. Daydream about it. You're like, oh, it's the leopard print turtleneck today. I don't know. I don't have a leopard print turtleneck, surprisingly. I wear a lot of leopard print. But, maybe it's the leopard print turtleneck today, but you daydream about when it's the fancy sweater from whatever designer you love, and it just makes you feel fun. How do you show up with your friends? What are you doing in your spare time? And now I'm going to give you an example, but I want to wrap things up because one of my goals was to make shorter videos, but I don't know if that's like a realistic goal because I want to give you guys the information I want to give you. So one thing that I did that was huge was, how can I be more authentic in my free time? I would come home, I would basically binge watch TV shows, usually comfort shows, or I'd be watching YouTube. I felt like I always had to be consuming something that was productive, either in, this is funny and entertaining, or this is teaching me something. But I could never just kind of be. And one of my friends had been telling me about a book series she was reading, and I used to think that because of my old relationship with reading as an escape tactic years and years and years ago, I was hesitant. I didn't want to have a negative habit. But something called to me to just try it. Just try it. So I start reading this book series. I'm hooked, and I'm realizing that it's much better for my brain to come home, get excited, cozy up in this cozy apartment with my pets who are not on camera today, and like wrap up in a blanket, get a cup of tea, and just indulge in a book. And when I started reading, it started putting my brain into a more creative space. I've started painting again. I'm starting to write again. I don't enjoy watching television in the same way I used to. And I personally realized how much I had created a routine of putting myself in a mental space that was not creative, because I would just engage with, mindless television. Now, I still love watching my shows, but I have created the space that I desired for myself and didn't know how to achieve just by doing what felt authentic. I wanted to read the book. I wanted to see. I wanted to. And just reading this book has changed so much for me. Not because the book had anything like super, educational to offer, but because I was indulging myself in something that felt so fun for me. I was getting my imagination going. It was getting my creative juices going. And that's my example. So you can also think about, the ways that you spend time with your friends, the things that you do with your friends. Oh, that's the same thing. I just said the same thing twice. Your relationship with your phone is huge. Do you not like it when people text you after a certain time? Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Okay, but you still want to hear from your best friend. I know that my phone personally has settings to allow certain people through. You can customize these Do Not Disturb modes. You can set timers for apps. You can limit your screen time. Do whatever it is. Turn off those notifications. You don't want to hear from Instagram all day? Shut off the notifications. Make it something you check when you want to. Those are my examples. So I'm going to wrap this here. I'm really excited about this video, and I hope that you guys take it and take something from it and start practicing it. I'm telling you, this will change your life so quickly, and you'll see things maybe in just little increments, but it'll be exciting because you'll see how rapidly the changes roll in, and you'll know that as long as you keep working on your best power strip self, you are going to continue seeing beautiful changes in your life. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you'd like me to elaborate more on, if you want more examples or you want me to dive into something more specific that I mentioned here, or if there's another topic that you have on your mind. I am very excited to be making content again, and I'm very excited to be hearing how you guys are doing. So let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.